It's Julian. Busy morning at St James Park this morning as we welcome
Another busy morning.
Yeah, exactly. As we welcome Gary Caldwell as our new manager. I mean, can you just give us your reactions to the news?
Yeah, it's been a long process. I know everybody wanted to go faster, and everybody was in the same situation. You know, you want a manager in as soon as you can, but the important thing in this process was to take enough time to get the right man. And Gary, I think we've done that. I think it became, as the second interview and so on, and the more time that you spent, you got to understand, of course, the background and the experience is very important. It's taken a long time to get in this league. We'd really like to stay here, but at the same time, we need to take the club on. It's going to be a tall order. Also, a background in the academy and understanding what that requires was a significant factor. And then I suppose the other important factor was that, from the interviews, you soon learn that, everybody had done a bit of due diligence, but he'd done, a lot of due diligence, spoken to a lot of people, and really did have an understanding of, the nature of the club, the model, the ethos, as is already mentioned, and I think that came across really strongly. And he also understands that, as we do, that it is going to take some time to do that. So I think there was an understanding in both directions that made that possibility stronger, and we've got our man.
Gary's just spent half an hour with the local media as well, talking about why he took the position. I think he was keen to stress that he's keen to continue the good work that Matt Taylor put in at the club and how he's left it, and it's obviously he wants to continue that, and it's going to take time before he puts his stamp on the club. Yeah,
he was very, very complimentary of what Matt has done. I think, as everybody has, he did a great job. So, in the first instance, you don't want somebody to come in and tip it all upside down, and that's not the case. But he sees the things that they can do, and I think Matt perhaps Barnsley away, then Charlton away, then no training ground, and 7 or 8 people injured, and then Derby tomorrow and Plymouth next week. I think Matt knew something we didn't actually see in front of us, but it's great to see him doing well where he is, and he's left a great legacy. And Gary mentioned that a number of times, very magnanimously, that he sees that it's a progression rather than a turnover and start again.
He's got a lot of experience in League One, having won the title. Gained promotion with Wigan back in 2016 as well, and played at the highest levels as well. So he's someone who's going to bring a lot of football know-how and experience with him.
Well, you're trying to find somebody that's got all the attributes that we were looking for across the board, and Gary fits that bill. There was some really good attributes in the people that we interviewed, but it just became obvious over a period of time that he was the one that really fitted what we're trying to achieve here, and that experience was as you say, was a major factor. He understands this league, he understands what to be successful in, and he's under no illusions of how difficult that's going to be to maintain our position and to take it on. I think the club is always over since 2003. It's always going to take us time. It's cyclical. Nothing happens instantly. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years to get a really strong, to sometimes 4 or 5. Hard to understand. You want to do it tomorrow, but he understands that process, and we all want to, and everybody will be working towards accelerating as best we can. But we need that stability and strength and experience that Gary's got.
He spoke very strongly about wanting to buy into the trust model, the ethos of the club, and working strongly with all the staff at the club, and bring success to the fans.
Well, that very much came across. That's one of the things that you're looking for. He was, how could I get involved in various things, particularly social media? He'd obviously looked and seen what we do and how we do it here, and that can be quite a demand, as you well know. And that was interesting too, and it was another reason we thought this was the right direction, because some managers really need to just want to concentrate on one thing, whereas others, it's not to the detriment of that, but they understand that there's other aspects to it, and this club has got lots of aspects, and they need to fulfil all of those. So it does make the job more difficult. It makes it more time consuming, but it was something he was looking to do, as opposed to us saying, would you be prepared to?
It's a strong commitment for someone who's spent the majority of their life in the north as well, and Scotland, to come all the way down to Devon.
Yeah, I think already from talking to him this morning he's actually already enjoying it. He's already looking around thinking, why didn't I do this a bit earlier? So that's a real plus. So we'll take some time to show him around, and I'm sure, like so many, they do like to stay around the area. So I think we'll keep him for a while.
Could have been a difficult start for him as well. Derby away tomorrow, Devon Derby on Monday. His experience probably of the Old Firm Derby.
I think he said, I haven't looked at the
interesting.
fixtures, but I think he said the top 4 in the next 6 games or something.
Peterborough and Ipswich as well. So in the next 4 weeks we've got some really tough games. It's
going to be really difficult. Sometimes those situations really tell you what he needs. He will want to see that. He won't want to wait for 3-4 months or to the end. He's going to be able to see in the next 5 or 6 games where we are, and there's 1 or 2 players lone players that we've lost. There's 1 or 2 that have been sort of long-term injuries and so on. And so he's going to have to look into that straight away. And I think he's already keen to do that, to see where we need to ensure that we got a little bit more strength in depth, which has been a real tough. Kevin's been at the helm. I think at one stage when Pierce Sweeney came off, I think that was the eighth first team player that was out. So that's improving now, and nobody ever used it as an excuse, but it might not be, but it is a fact. So that's improving, but we've still got a number that aren't quite match fit yet. So that game on Saturday was great for everybody, but particularly for the guys who've been holding the fort. And I know they've already had conversations about what comes next. And I think today is organised already, and they have done quite a magnificent job out there under some no training ground. They've done a really fantastic job. I couldn't be more delighted with the boot room, the staff and the players, of how they've reacted to this position and situation we've been in.
Gary said himself as well, it's important that he gets to know the players as people and not just what they can do on the pitch as well. And the man management is such a strong aspect of football, isn't it?
That came across very strongly. He needs to know, this is the information that I want to know, and he intends to spend time with them all, because my background, my old world, it was always about that, was 16 to 18 year olds. It's not what's in front of you, it's what's behind them that you need to understand really well. And you understand what's going on in their lives a little bit more. Of course you can help them with it, but you can understand what's going on, and that makes your knowledge and understanding stronger, and it helps them. And everybody talks about development. Well, there's a really important aspect of how that actually works.
Just finally as well, we've got to take this opportunity to thank Kevin and John for the hard work that they've put in, for these last 3 weeks. It's not been easy for them. No. But some impressive performances and results in there. I
know, as I mentioned, they've, the club as a whole, really, when you look across the board, everybody knew Matt was going to go at some stage. He's a talented man. There's been other suitors and he hasn't gone, and it wasn't a shock that he went. It was just a shock when, you never know when that's coming. But the way everybody has reacted, from the ground up, literally, from the back room here to the boot room to the academy, to the staff, both here and there, and then, then finally to John, and then Kevin, who really stepped up and took the helm without any, with no qualms whatsoever, in the middle of applying for a job that he wanted to. So the club owes them a debt.